Hi everyone, Trishna here. So on the day that I'm filming this video, which is not the day that I'm going to be posting this video, I have a few videos that I filmed yesterday that I want to get out first, but the day that I'm filming this video is July 5th. So it's the day after the American Independence Day, a day which is very pivotal in our history. But the context of right now is that American patriotism is at its all-time low. And I know that that is the case, but energetically, I feel like there are a lot of people who are very aware now of what's been going on, but who are also optimistic about the future that we can build together. And the only thing that they need is to have some direction on that, to have some kind of message around that, to know what to do next, and to know how to build that. And so I wanted to create a video around that, the energy of those people, and provide a healing message on that. So I'm going to pull out a tarot card, and then I'm going to read that tarot card and get some messages from it, and then I'm going to end the video with a little bit of healing, and hopefully some direction will come out from both of those. So the tarot card that I pulled is the Ten of Pentacles. And I feel like this card is telling us a lot of what we already know. It's telling us that we have been very apathetic. We may have seen injustice happening around us, but instead of getting up and acting, instead of trying to defend the other person, instead of trying to bring justice to the situation, we just observed it. We made no moves, and while we may have felt the pain of that injustice, we kept it within ourselves. We did nothing about it. We tried to stifle it and suppress it so that we wouldn't feel that pain. So instead of trying to rectify the pain by helping another, we tried to ignore the pain by suppressing it within ourselves. And we've done a couple of things. So that may be one of the things that we've been doing for the longest time. And another thing is we may have been talking about each other behind our backs, behind each other's backs, where we're saying things that aren't really true, just things that maybe we've heard that we're passing along that we haven't truly experienced, but it just feels gossipy and nice and fun to share something about another person. So we haven't really been treating each other well in terms of the actions that we've taken or not taken, and we haven't really been treating each other very well in terms of the things that we've been saying about each other and the messages that we have been spreading about each other. And I think this also represents how maybe all we have done is talk. So for those of us who have tried to do something about this, all we've done is maybe use words, and all we have done is talk about it. We haven't actually implemented anything. We haven't actually moved anything forward. It's just been in the conversation mode and the idea mode. It hasn't been taken from that thought form into the physical realm of something that we can all actually experience and have implemented. I think the reason why, even though American patriotism is so low right now, there is still this high energy of optimism of, hey, what can we do? I think it's because everything has come crumbling down and everything has also come to the surface. And that represents the chance, the opportunity for us to actually act on things. Before, we may have only had the opportunity to talk about things. The environment wasn't set up to where we could actually act on it, to where there could actually be change, to where everybody could come together to move this movement forward. And now that is here. And so I think even though patriotism may be low, I think the connection to other people is actually what is high and optimistic, and the chance for us to actually do something about it, because finally the conditions are created so that we can move forward from this, so that we can find solutions. I think that is what is creating that optimism that I'm feeling in the energy. Of course, then the question becomes how? How do I take advantage of this opportunity when the time is right for us to actually make a change? How do I actually take advantage of that and actually use it so that we can actually create the change that I would like to see, or that we would all like to see? And so the answer to that I see in this card as well. But before I get into that, I want to just talk a little bit about how to create change in the world. So change always begins with ourselves and with them. We have to align our energy so that when we take action, we're moving forward with our complete entirety, with the wholeness of ourself. If we don't first align ourselves internally and energetically, we may go out and do an action because that seems like the right action. But if another action seems right, we'll start doing that. And then pretty soon we'll just be doing a bunch of different things and not really making an impact. It's kind of that jack of all trades, master of none. Whereas when you're aligned, you get the clear guidance, you are very much in tune with the path that feels right, and you stick with it until you reach completion versus being scattered everywhere around and losing sight of yourself because you've never connected with yourself to begin with. So change first comes from connecting with yourself. Once you do that, you will start getting the path. You will start seeing what you need to do to be able to create the change that you're looking for. So the answer also is in this card. So here we have this child. The child is the only one who is not acting like the adults, the apathetic adults, or the gossiping adults, or the ones who just talk and don't actually act. So that is where we need to get our direction from. It's from children. Now, this can come in the form of a few different things. I feel that more than likely it is mainly to do with actual children, but not all of us have that kind of exposure. So, and this is about aligning internally first so that we know the action to take out there to make things actually happen. So, here's one form. The first form is connecting with that inner child and connecting with your own particular childhood. Where was there a time in your childhood when you were young and you were innocent and you didn't care about anybody else's opinion, or you didn't care about getting in trouble for something, and you saw an injustice and you spoke up or you did something about it because you hadn't been beaten down by the world. And so you did something for another, or where you saw an injustice and you cared for the other person and you made a move. Try to connect with a moment in your life when you did that, when you were in your pure innocence and you had no other motivation other than to be your pure self and to help others. Connect with that version of yourself and embody that, and use that in your meditation. Try to focus on that memory and that feeling for 5 minutes a day, and that will start aligning you to that aspect of yourself. That aspect of yourself will become the biggest aspect of yourself, and you will start bringing towards you opportunities on how to actually put that into the world. You will start getting ideas, you will start seeing the opportunities as well, and you will start acting from that kind of energy. Now, I said that this is most likely to do with real children. If there are real children in your life, I want you to listen to them. I want you to see how they interact. I want you to see what their opinions and their thoughts are on everything that's going on when they hear about it, or when you ask them a simple question. What is their answer? Because their answer tends to be very pure. I also want you to pay attention to those children in the sense of how they are not bashful in asking the questions that need to be asked and making the points that need to be made. They haven't learned how to filter their words. They haven't learned that they have to please others yet or make a bunch of people happy. So they're going to be very straightforward about their thoughts on things. Pay attention to that and try to be around that a lot so that you start engaging again with their kind of energy, because they are of a pure mind. They haven't been as conditioned as the rest of us. So there's somebody to look to. Of course, trust your own guidance first and foremost, but be around that kind of energy and start taking on a little bit of their mentality, because that again is going to help you see the world, because they see the world very simply. When we become adults, we complicate everything because we've been conditioned that way. We've had so many experiences that have hurt us or helped us, and we have to navigate through all of that, and then we're dealing with people who have had the same but different forms of conditioning, and we're having to navigate around each other and figure out what the other person is thinking and how to work with them. Life gets really complicated. But as a child, everything is very simple, and so they have the simple solution. And as Einstein, I believe, said, the best solution is often the simplest one. So that is the guidance that the tarot card wants to say, is to start getting ideas on how you can actually implement things. Start listening to the children in your life. Start connecting with your inner child in moments from your own childhood when everything was simple and what you did. You just acted. You just did what was right. So in a previous video, I talked about the state of the world for the third quarter of 2020. In that video, I talked about how now is not really the time to act. It's more the time to reflect and to plan. And I feel like the guidance here is somewhat in alignment with that. I feel like if there's something that you want to do about things right now, it is to connect with the children in your life, or your inner child, or your childhood memories. And it is also to talk to other people who are interested in doing something, who are optimistic as well, and having conversations with them and doing some planning with them. So if there is an action that you want to take at this point in time, that's what it is. And if you want a little more direction on what action you should take, I'm being guided to ask you to look at your astrological chart and look at where your ascendant lies. What ruling planet rules your first house? So for example, if you are a Virgo or a Gemini ascendant, then you are ruled by the planet of Mercury. Mercury is all about communication. So you need to be talking to people about your plans. You need to be talking to people about the issues and how to resolve them. It's all about communication and talking. If your planet is ruled by Jupiter, if your first house is ruled by Jupiter, so if you are a Sagittarius, and I think also if you are a Pisces, then that is all about expansion. So if you're hearing something, if you're seeing information on YouTube, or you're reading about something, you need to expand the reach of that. You need to share that with other people who would be interested, or who could benefit, or who can actually do something about it. If, let's say, you are ruled by Venus, so I think that is Taurus and Libra, Venus is about love and it's also about finances. Maybe you need to be donating to causes that you love and that you care about that are related to what's going on. If your ascendant or your first house is ruled by Capricorn, then your ruling planet is Saturn, and that is all about rules and discipline. So maybe you need to be paying attention to the things that people are saying and tell them what they can and can't think and what they can and can't say. And it's a little bit weird to say what people can and can't think, but sometimes people don't know any better and they need some guidance on where their thinking is right and where their thinking maybe needs to be adjusted. So figure out what your ruling planet is and figure out how that applies to you. So, for Mercury, for those who are ruled by Mercury, like Virgos and Geminis, that may be about communicating and things like that, but it could also be about writing and sharing your own information and your own thoughts and creating the blog posts and the videos that then those ruled by Jupiter share with others to expand that message. So figure out how it applies to you, but if you're looking for some action, the key may be in your ruling planet, the planet that rules your ascendant, your first house. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this gave you some guidance. I hope that if you're optimistic and you're ready to start digging in and making some changes, that you stay in that energy and that you pull the rest of us up with you and you start to act on that, or I guess not act just yet, but like start planning and talking to other people and figuring out what your collective plan of action will be. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.